Today we are talking about small business qualified retirement plans like 401ks, and more specifically, the ERISA safe harbors that can make your life easier. If you're a small business owner or perhaps an employee of a small business and are responsible for operating your 401k plan, I am going to go out on a limb and say that it's probably not your favorite thing to do. In fact, it's more likely quite a nuisance, as it is for many people operating a plan in small businesses. You have a lot of fiduciary obligations where you are required to do what's in the best interests of participants in the plan, and that includes your current employees who are participating, as well as departed employees who still have assets in the plan. And often, fear of breaching that fiduciary duty, fear of doing something that may not be in their best interests, is kind of paralyzing, and it causes small business operators to maybe not take action, not do something that they'd otherwise like to, because they're afraid they're going to breach their fiduciary duties to the participants. Fortunately, there are 6 safe harbors written into ERISA, written into the law, that exist to make your life easier. Basically, if you qualify for these safe harbors by doing certain things, that will qualify as meeting your fiduciary duty. You can't be in breach of your fiduciary obligation if you do these certain things. Today, we're going to talk about auto rollovers. And like we mentioned earlier, a lot of times when employees leave your business, they may, either because they're lazy or they forget about it or whatever the reason is, leave their assets in your 401k plan and not transfer them to their new plan or roll them into an IRA. Whatever happens, this is kind of a pain in your rear end, because these departed employees can accumulate over time. You still have to send them notices and keep them on the roster of participants in your plan, which takes a little bit of work operationally and a little bit of cost sometimes if you're paying your fees per participant. Fortunately, one of these 6 safe harbors in ERISA has to do with auto rollovers and allows you to automatically distribute and roll over the assets of departed employees into an IRA if they have $5,000 or less in the plan, or if they have $1,000 or less, you can even cut them a check directly and get their assets out so you don't have to worry about them any longer. Now, here's how you can qualify for the safe harbor and make sure that you are not in breach of your fiduciary obligation to these departed employees. First, the rollover must be made into an IRA or an annuity offered by a number of different companies. Mutual fund companies work, discount brokerage firms work. Any financial institution that's able to offer IRAs in the first place will qualify. Second, there has to be a written agreement that expressly states how the rolled over funds will be invested and what the fees and expenses might be. On top of that, you have to invest the funds in a way that will provide a reasonable rate of return and preserve principal. In practice, that means that money market funds, interest-bearing savings account, and CDs will all qualify, even though with interest rates still so low, I could argue that it's probably not a reasonable rate of return, but it does preserve principal, and these 3 financial products will qualify. The investment vehicle you choose must maintain adequate liquidity. Fees and expenses from the IRA provider can't be higher than what they charge other IRA accounts. And participants need to receive a summary plan description or summary of material modifications before any auto rollover takes place. Now, a few other issues to take into account here. Your plan has to allow auto rollovers in the first place. Remember that ERISA expressly states things that your plan has to do in order to qualify under Section 401k in the first place. You have a plan document which you are required to adhere to at all times. And if your plan document doesn't even allow auto rollovers, you need to amend it in order to allow auto rollovers. This isn't a huge change, and it can be done for not too much cost. You need a local third-party administrator to help you with that. But you can't take assets out under this auto rollover safe harbor if your plan document doesn't allow them in the first place. That would be in violation of your plan document and would be a compliance problem of its own. You also can't have any prohibited transactions. So if, for example, you were to receive a referral fee or a gift or something like that for placing the IRA at a specific institution, you're being compensated in a way that doesn't represent the best interest of your participant, and therefore that's a prohibited transaction. Can't do that. It rarely comes into play unless you're a financial services company in the first place. Beyond that, IRAs at most of the discount brokerage firms out there will meet all these requirements, and your service provider will probably be familiar with all of them and able to guide you to make sure that you qualify for the safe harbor. So if you have a lot of participants in your 401k plan that are no longer employees of your company, you want to clean things up, maybe they've disappeared on you, kind of hard to contact, you don't know what's happened, keep in mind that if they've got less than $5,000 in the plan, you can roll them out automatically without being in breach of your fiduciary responsibilities. Just make sure that you do these 6 things to qualify for the safe harbor and you will be good to go. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel here and check out all our other videos I'll be posting, and sign up for Above the Canopy and get free access to the Financial Independence Vault.